Hey, what's up? Cecil Smith here, Bandana Running. Been a while. Today I'm going to talk about the NovaBlast 3, but before I get into that too far, I want to go back to the last video. It should be the last video, or maybe a couple of videos ago, depending on when I put this one up. But I talked about the Adidas Ultra Boost DNA 5.0 and what my complaint with the shoe was. Just for clarification, I get that the shoe is not a running shoe. Okay, I understand that. There were some people in the comments that was like, it's not a running shoe. I understand that. What my problem is that the way that Adidas marketed the shoe, presents the shoe, they don't make a clear delineation between this being just a comfort, wearable type fashion shoe versus the Ultra Boost DNA 20 or Ultra Boost 22, which is the trainer, like the daily trainer. And Adidas has kind of just thrown like a ton of different shoes out there now for running, and it's hard to keep track of which ones are the running shoes and which ones are the casual shoes. And these are the casual shoes, but if you pick them up thinking they're running shoes and you're not really a runner, they are not. So yeah, I get it. They're a casual shoe. I understand. My problem was with the way that Adidas had presented the shoe. I didn't think was very good. And if you're not into running, don't understand it, you don't want to pick up this shoe, pay $190 for it, and think it's a good running shoe. If you're paying $190, you want a good running shoe. This is not it. And I did not pay that much for the shoe. Got it on sale and stuff. I was like, oh, I'll try it because it's the Adidas Ultra Boost, and was horribly disappointed. So that's the first thing. Now that that's out of the way, let's jump in to the Asics NovaBlast 3. Now, here's the thing about this video, right? The NovaBlast has been out there for a while. It's February 2024 right now when I'm recording this. So I understand that the shoe's been out there. I haven't had a chance to record. I've had the shoe since June. My first impressions of the shoe, it's very similar to the old Asics NovaBlast. And when I say that, it's got the same kind of feel underneath, a lot of give in the cushioning. The upper's a little different, a little bit more give in it. And there's some differences between this shoe and the two. I thought the two, and the reason I'm doing this video, even though it's so late, is because I did the NovaBlast 1, I did the 2, I've got the 3, so just for completeness sake, I'm going to review the shoe. It's a good shoe, and as far as the series of shoe goes, the NovaBlast 1 was a good shoe, but it had some stability issues in it. Other than that, it's good to walk around in, just good shoe to wear. The 2, I felt, solved the stability issues. It put some more geometry in the sides, and it was a comfortable shoe to also just walk around and wear around. The 3, I feel like kind of took a step back in some areas. In some places, it went up a little bit, went forward a little bit, but in some, it kind of took a little bit of a step back. Now, the stats on the shoe itself, it's 8.9 ounces. So the shoe got lighter, which is a plus. They've gone with the Flight Foam Blast Plus, which I believe it was just the Blast last time. So this is the Blast Plus foam. So it's a little bit better foam, and I think it'll last longer. It just doesn't give up as much. The 2 kind of gave up a little bit towards the end. What I don't like about this shoe in particular, where I think it took a step back. So it got lighter. That's awesome. New foam. That's good. The geometry, whether it made a difference or not in the shoe, I mean, that's for them to decide. I feel like going back to this, kind of basic pattern is a little bit of a step back. I feel like the geometry on the sides kind of gave you a little bit more give, even more than just the foam itself, because you had actual voids that were compressing when you were wearing the shoe. So I thought that was a plus. But this one kind of goes back to almost what the Gel Nimbus 22 lights were like, where it just kind of had these grooves in the side, which I think was kind of maybe like the genesis of this for Asics. I don't know that for a fact, but that was kind of the progression, because you had the Nimbus 22 lights, then the NovaBlast, and they kind of just expanded on that. But the other things that I kind of don't like about the shoe, I'll just go through those first. The tongue. I'm not a like person that just goes off on the tongue, or like I can't run in this particular shoe, but I'm not a huge cloth tongue fan. And I think that was one of the things they did to lighten the shoe up, which, you know, light shoe, great, but I get, how are you getting to that lightness? How are you taking the weight away from the shoe? And I think one of the ways they did that was the tongue, and I'm not a huge fan of making the tongue worse, and maybe that's not the right thing. But it's not gusseted either. There's a connection pretty far inside that holds it, but it does have a tendency to slip a little bit. It doesn't feel bad on your foot, but it does come up pretty high on your foot on the tongue. So I'm not a huge fan of that. The other thing that I noticed in one of my later runs is I'd always run with the taller socks. And I like shoes where I don't have to worry about the socks. I can just put a pair of socks on and go run. But these, they require long socks. And I wore short socks, and I think it was like a 3.5, 4 mile run. It wasn't super long or anything. And by the time I got done, it had actually rubbed my Achilles on the left side to where it was red and sore for a day or two. Now, it wasn't a huge problem, but it's one where, okay, now I have to think about it before I go out, because it doesn't feel bad if you're just walking around in short socks. It does rub a little bit, but on a long run, it gets incredibly uncomfortable. So that was one of the other things, and that's a little bit of a disappointment, because the twos, I never felt that way. So this got a little bit worse. Not a huge fan of the tongue. The improvement I think they made was they just kind of incorporated the Asics symbol into the coloring of the shoe, which good. I mean, you can see the Asics on it. It's light. You got rid of the plasticky side stuff, and now it's just incorporated into this cloth upper, which has some give in. Not a whole lot. It's a little bit stiff, but the fit of the shoe is not bad. It fits pretty good. I'll probably wear the shoe out just wearing the shoe. And it's not, this black and white version is not a super offensive color scheme to me. Like, there were some that were kind of weird, that had like the orange outsoles and stuff that maybe you're not just going to wear around. But this shoe, no issue wearing this one around. If you want to look at the outsole on the shoe, real similar design to what the twos was. It has this open area in the back, maybe a little bit hard to pick up on the video, but this is where you get that trampoline effect that some people talk about with the NovaBlast series. It's kind of open. There's a lot of give in it when you compress down around it, so I think that helps with the energy return. The foam on the shoe, great for energy return. It feels like a NovaBlast when you put it on. Now, I'll say that when you run in it, it does feel like a NovaBlast. It's just this version of it is a little bit of a step back. And I appreciate what Asics has done with this series, because I think they pushed the envelope with the NovaBlast to start with. Then they improved on where they missed a little bit on the 1 with the 2. And I think they were trying to push the ball forward on the 3, but just a little bit of a miss. And now the 4 is out. So, my suggestion would have been, if I made this video right when the shoe came out, ran in it, felt the shoe, is like, fix this part here. And they did. On the 4, this has the flared out heel counter. So that's going to keep from that rubbing, because it's going to start to come away from the heel rather than come into it and kind of cup it pretty hard. And this is actually pretty solid in the back. The plasticky stuff that they have on the back here for the heel counter is kind of just pretty rigid. There's not much give here at all. And I know that's like a quality of shoe that you look for to tell if it's a good shoe or not. This has that, but it's so rigid that you don't get any give, and it's kind of pointing back towards the Achilles, and it doesn't have any give in it, so it's going to rub you there. I did like where they threw, you know, the NovaBlast 3 on the side here. I thought that was neat, and it's if you look in the plastic, it also has a little blast if you read the top and the bottom. So I thought that was cool. Other than that, though, on the 4, I'm not sure what they did to the tongue. I probably will have a 4 at some point. This shoe, though, like I said, it was a little bit of a step back for me from where the 2 was. The 2 was probably one of the best daily trainer type shoes that I've ran in. The 3, it's lighter. The upper doesn't feel bad. It's got a good fit around your foot. It's just some of the other things. If you don't like the tongue, if you don't like the cloth, real flimsy type tongue, that's an issue. The heel's an issue if you don't wear the long socks every time, or the longer socks where it at least comes past that. Other than that, it's a good shoe. I still like the NovaBlast series. To me, though, in this series, 2 is still the best. And I don't think I'm just somebody who's like nostalgia. Oh, the old is better. Like, legitimately, they took a few steps back with a shoe. I like lightening it up. That's good. Put the tongue back in and fix the back of it. Other than that, I don't think they need to do a whole lot to this shoe, because really the 2 was a great step forward from the 1. So that's my opinion. I've got maybe 100 miles or so in the shoe. Like, I'm not going to say it's not brand new. I have run in it. Like I said, it's been about 6 months. Well, probably 8 months at this point. But it's not one that I reach for every time that I'm going out either. It's a good shoe, but it's not great. And for me, it's mostly going to be just get my miles in it, wear it out, just wearing it around. So I'll try the 4 eventually, but that's all I got on this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you get a chance to get the 3, now that the 4s are out, unless you can get like a super good deal on it, I'd skip it. I'd skip it. I'd try the 4, or if you get the 2, I doubt the 2s are out there anywhere right now. But I would just try the 4. Just skip this one for now, unless it's like I said, a really great deal. All right, that's all I've got for you. Thanks. See you guys later.